Hi, welcome to the Mystic Heuristic, and I am Nina Alvarez. I was just doing a spread for myself when I intuitively sensed that I should make a spread specifically for writing. Top card is the writing spirit, bottom card is the creator, the one that creates. Card to the right is the guidance, your way forward, and card to the left is your obstacle in writing. And as I flipped these over and I was thinking about them and analyzing them, I also felt I'm actually supposed to be recording this because maybe this isn't just a reading for me, but it's a reading for everyone who comes by anyway. So I'm getting the intuition that this is a spread for this week. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. And of course, you know that if you're watching this in the future, then that means it's a message for you at any time, any place. Yeah, you know who you are. I'm going to start with spirit. That's what wants to come out. So we have the hermit reversed. Very briefly, the hermit is being introspective, seeking solitude, withdrawing from the world, and giving or receiving guidance. The hermit is an inspirational friend and teacher, and his help can illuminate the secrets of one's own mind. I asked if in this particular deck it mattered if they were reversed, and I got the sense that yes, it's part of the message. So I'm going to read the hermit reversed. There's no definition for the reversal of the hermit in the Shadowscapes tarot. It doesn't matter. I'm doing more of an intuitive reading and I'm using their short descriptions and my own understanding of tarot just as a jumping off point. If you're here, it's because you take your writing seriously. It's a big part of your identity. It's a big part of who you are here to be and who you feel you're here to be. This is not the place for dabblers. If you were just a dabbler in writing, your heart wouldn't be wrenching the way that it is. Okay. Longing, desiring to find your voice, longing, desiring to find your perfect genre and your perfect approach. Your spirit right now is the reversal of the hermit. Maybe I should say our spirit. Again, this is a reading for the last week of June 2022. I was born on March 9th. March 9th, according to the birthday book, is the day of the hermit. I'm a double Pisces. You don't have to be a Pisces or a double Pisces, though, to be identified with the hermit. You have probably been in solitude quite a bit in your life, maybe more than you would like, but you go there because you're trying to get right with your soul and you're trying to figure things out. And you also find that from that place, you are a guide to others. Your lantern helps light their way. It's also been a mode of survival in a world that didn't really quite understand you, in a world where you saw people suffering and just knew that you were meant to help when you also felt yourself suffering. And your first instinct was to go inside to fix that suffering. But your spirit right now is in a reversal. We're in a shift this very week. We're moving into a time of action. I know that you've been champing at the bit for a while now. Mercury retrograde, all sorts of planetary things. They were saying to wait, even though you felt so, so, so ready to move. Finally, I think the gates are opening. That energy that you have is going to finally start to line up with the readiness of the world. So, what does your spirit want to say to you? What is your spirit experiencing? Is it just that it wants to be the opposite of the hermit? It doesn't want to be solitary anymore? I don't think that's quite it. This is a spirit in pain. It's been a hard week in the news. If you're here, it's because you can feel what this is doing to our psyche right now, our collective psyche. So much change. And a lot of women are very, very upset. Sarah was asking you this week to move out of the hermit role, to turn it on its head. And that doesn't mean that you have to go out to every party or reach out to every friend, accept every invitation. I think it's asking you to ask yourself what this has all been for. All this journaling, all this introspection, all this time alone, especially the last 2 years of the pandemic. What has it all been for? Is it still necessary that you be in this space and that you hold a lantern up for others? Or is it time? Is your spirit asking for something new? What I'm feeling is that the hermit mode has now reached the point where there are diminishing returns, and it is even maybe becoming a little toxic for you. I want to be clear, though, this doesn't mean changing your physical, necessarily your days. It doesn't mean you have to leave the house this many times. It doesn't mean you have to reach out to this many people. It's about how you hold your spirit and your soul in the midst of life. It's become too dark. It's become too toxic to be this lonely. You aren't alone. But Spirit does want to take a moment to acknowledge how your heart feels right now, which is burdened. Feeling of endless blows, right, to the psyche and to the spirit. Just so many. I live in like a residential city neighborhood across from a beautiful park, but these cars, they just speed by constantly, especially during the weekdays. Sometimes motorcycles that are so unnecessarily loud that it's jarring, not just to my nervous system, but to like our pets and to my partner. And as I grow more and more conscious and I develop more and more my inner peace, I find that it's less something that I can just ignore. It's less something that I could just handle. Instead of becoming acclimated to it, I feel like I've become unacclimated to it over the last couple months. Society feels a lot like this lately, where the greater I grow in peace and equanimity inside, the more appalling all of this fighting and noise and unnecessary aggression feels to me. But the spirit of the hermit, she won't do anymore. She's living in their world, isolating herself in their world. She's created a place for herself and a way to help others, a little passively, but still help them. But it's still their world, and she's been forced into her own cave there. And she's freaking pissed because it's time for things to change. What does that mean specifically for you, specifically for me? This week, be open to it. Meditate on it. How can you move out of hermit mode without moving into the chaos and darkness of the collective consciousness right now? How can you be your own person in this world? As a writer, as writers, what does that mean for us? I feel anger here. Again, I do. I feel the hermit itself is resigned, full of solitude, and a sort of peace. But the hermit reverse, I am feeling anger. And this is enough. Suggestion. Get really still inside, but stay focused in your body on that anger. On everyone else when they're with their bad ideas and their cacophonies taking over reality. You have a voice, and your voice is powerful because you are 5D and because you have done the work. You don't have to use this voice on social media. God, you know what? Don't even waste your time anymore there. Pull something out of the earth with this anger. Make something big. Could be an essay, could be a scene from a play, it could be a character study, it could be whatever kind of writing that you feel like doing this week or that you tend to do. But remember, we're moving into 5D literary art, which means you are going to use this as a space of transmutation for yourself and others. So you got to get in there and you got to go deep and you got to be raw. It's easier said than done, I know. What am I going to do? When my feelings are so overwhelming, especially with anger, which I have more difficulty accepting in myself because of the way I was raised, like many of us, I actually turn to songwriting. I'm not a musician, so what I do is I just find a track on YouTube. People write backing tracks for music all the time that you can use. You might have to pay for it if you ever publish it, but it's there. And I play it and I start to hear lyrics and a melody coming through. And it's through that process that I can get more emotion out and more dimensionality out when I am angry. If I sit down to journal, if I sit down to write a poem, it can come out a little bit, but for me, my writing tends to be very intellectual. When I need to really get in the body, I write a song. So, what kind of writing gets you in your body? Honestly, follow the feeling into your body and then follow your body to your expression. I'd be curious to know if this card is resonating with you this week or whenever it is that you read this spread, what comes out, what you're able to make with this righteous anger. They're telling us to be neutral. They're telling us to be sovereign. They're telling us not to pay attention to the news. My spirit is saying to me and is asking me to say to whoever's here, that your job at this particular moment is to stay sovereign. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your center. But you are already in this. You need to transmute it. You've got anger. You've got skin in the game. And you're powerful AF. I've decided not to swear in these. I want so badly to swear. I'm such a, I don't swear gratuitously, but I love to swear to the right moment. But I don't want to like jar people in the middle of a reading. I know not everybody feels the same way about swears. So I don't know. We'll see how things develop. If you have a strong feeling one way or the other, I'd love to hear it. Okay. The creator, the world, such a good one for the creator. All right. This is the part of you that is, I don't know, the body, the processes, the doing. Satisfaction and peace of mind, a successful conclusion in the end is in sight. Don't you feel such a relief with that one? We need a freaking break. Achieving balance, melding and blending to bring together in unison the multiple songs of life. The world is a card of realized goals and prosperity. It is a state of completion. Okay, so last week of June, first couple days of July 2022. This won't be the only place you hear this, but we are in a transition to a new state. And I know it feels like it's been endless toil. My sense and my hope is that if you're here, you are transitioning into your role as an artist, even though it's like a very long and painful DNA shift sometimes. You're finding yourself thinking about your art more. You're finding yourself thinking like an artist more. You're finding yourself feeling your feelings instead of trying to just fix them. You're asking yourself how it all fits together into a form of great expression. And the world could not be a better card for this, for a beautiful week. It might be a couple days before you feel this, before you get here. I feel like there's still a little bit of the static in the air, but the world, this is where your body is. This is where your truest being is. I just love this with the foliage and the moon. It just feels like summer. It can be hard to feel can be hard to feel. This stability and this sense of achievement and this sense of arrival with the mind. So go out in nature, go outside without a screen, without your phone, just half an hour, and check in with your body and see if maybe your body's already here. We've spent years now anchoring the 5D into the 3D, especially in our own bodies. And our minds might still be in a state of old programming, but I would say that there is a lot happening here in the realm of what is. I get the sense that this won't really come into strong effect until Thursday. So if you're not feeling this yet, that's okay. There should be, by the end of this week, a feeling of arrival. And in that moment, sit with it and sit in it. Let that gratitude in that moment last as long as it can. Okay. 3 of Cups. This is your guidance for next steps. Call to celebration, dancing, and singing. Friendship is its key component in companionship, relying on others, and developing community and team spirit. But it's reversed. And like I said, I was told by my guides that the reversals do mean something for this particular spread. They're part of its meaning. My sense of this is that you're actually supposed to be tuning out from others right now. Now, I want to really be clear because these are subtle differences. This is not the same as moving back into hermit mode. And it's not the same as not having fun or being completely alone. I'm feeling that it's really time to stop listening to all the voices of the people around you. And these might even be voices in your head chattering. Ask your soul to show you what the 3 of Cups means for you, the 3 of Cups reversed, what this card means for you this week and today. For me, it means get off social media. Stop checking WhatsApp. Stop checking, the news. Stop checking what everyone's talking about. I'm in the process of transmuting some deep anger about what's going on in the world. And I'm also feeling, maybe not today, but in the next couple of days, I'm going to be feeling the new season really upon me, the rewards for all of my work. So for now, as angry as you are, and you might want to talk to people about it, don't go into the chatter modes. You're a part of this earth. You don't have to hide anymore. but you're countenancing and you're responding to what's going on in the astral level, in the astral plane. Okay. King of Swords. This is what's standing in your way. King of Swords reversed. Okay, like the vertical sword he holds at the ready, he is a pillar of strength and morality. A warrior king, his sword is always drawn and he's prepared to spring into action. The warrior king with a sword, prepared to spring into action. Reversed. What I feel is that the obstacle here is the masculine principle turned against you, against yourself. You can think of the King of Swords as he's an important, brave, righteous fighter when he's on your side. But the inverted King of Swords is this war principle, is this fighter inside you where you're fighting with yourself. This is not about external battles. This is not about countenancing external issues and transmuting them. And it's not about turning away from chatter. Your obstacle right now is this masculine fight you're having within. Are you making enough money? How will you make money from art? Does it even matter? What are you doing? It's a resistance. It's a force of resistance turned inward. And I feel this links up here. This internal conflict matches up with what is informing your spirit right now. My heart feels this, though. This is what's most real. All of this, these ways that you're turned against yourself, these ways that you're in resistance to your own good, or these ways that you are trying to figure out how to be a part of the world again without being a part of the world, you know what I mean? It's all coming to fruition. It's all working itself out. Not working itself out. You're the one who's worked it out. Your work is going to show its fruits. And you're going to have a moment, a long moment of meeting with the goddess in the hero's journey. The meeting with the goddess is a sense of rest and respite and achievement. There's more to go after that. I'm not saying that life is done. It's not. But we need more moments like this. And we need to start seeing the fruits of our labors in the astrals show up in the 3D. And I see that for you. And again, the guidance for dealing with your obstacles and the guidance for understanding everything that's going on is to move off of social media more. I'm surprised by this. This card can mean so many beautiful things, but for now, this is what it's just a window for me to receive messages. And this is the message I'm receiving for you, is to move out of social media psychically more than anything. If there's people you know in your real life that are always in your ear, bah, 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 make some space from them this week. Ultimately, we're in a moment of very deep transition. I know we've been saying this for years, but right now feels very key. And it's sort of a time for being quiet, not set apart, not turning on ourselves, criticizing ourselves, fighting ourselves, but for being quiet because we're paying attention and we're countenancing the change. And we're anchoring and we're being honest and we're finding a way to turn it all into 5D art. Okay. This is my wish and my prayer for you, the world. Have a good week and happy making.